Good morning, student. We are just continuing the lesson number second, the expansion of British power in India. Student, we have learnt about the process of mercantilism and how the mercantilism spread through over the world. This only gave the new kinds of the system that is known as the imperialism also, where the powerful country conquering over a weak country. In this way, we have learned during the 15th and 16th century how the different Europeans like Portuguese, the British, the Dutch, and the French how they came to our country. And afterwards, when we have learned the trade of wars, it means among these four companies, like the English East India Company, the French East India Company, and the Dutch East India Company, and the Portuguese, how they have fought among themselves for the trade and war in India. Slowly, they have settled down. Most of them, the British were the clever and they were too smart, who dragged out Portuguese, especially the French. There were the different kinds of the war among between the French and the British. So, student, in this way we can understand. And when the 1707 Mughal Emperor Farrukhsiyar gave the permission to the British Company for the free trade system in the Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa, so they got a chance for the trading system and to spread their trade in the province of Bengal. So today we are going to learn, student, when they got the permission of the trade, so what the result they got at that one. Slowly what they have started, when they have got the permission of trade system in the Bengal, Bihar, and the Odisha, especially the Bengal province. So afterwards, what they have started, they started the construction of the Fort William. It means Fort William Court is there, and two. It means one is a Fort William, and one is another uh, fort is there that is known as a William. Okay, it was the safeguard for their settlement, and afterwards, what they started the expanded their fortification and misuse their trading rights. It means, what is the meaning of this one sentence? Slowly, the Britishers they started their fortification. Fortification means the different kinds of the walls and with the different materials for their safeguard, and they started to misuse their trading rights, because in 1717 they got the permission of the free trade by the Farrukhsiyar in the Bengal province, but except this one they didn't get any permission. That's why they started to misuse their rights and they started the fortification. As a result, there was the conflict between the Nawab Sirajuddaulah and the Britishers. So at that time, what happened? There was a generalship of the Lord Clive. At that time, the Lord Clive was the general of India. Okay, so that time the company had given the work and the chance to Lord Clive to occupy the Bengal and to defeat the Sirajuddaulah, who was a Nawab of Bengal at that time. That's why in this work it was not very easy to defeat Sirajuddaulah. That's why Shiraz courts such as the Mir Jafar, who was a Mir Jafar, we can say Mir Jafar was one of the black sheep in the court of Sirajuddaulah. At that time, black sheep means who is cheating to someone. So he was a commander in chief. Okay, so when the Lord Clive got a chance by the company to defeat Sirajuddaulah and to drag him from the Bengal, so it was not very easy to defeat him. So many persons, those were the cunning persons, those were the greedy one, like the Mir Jafar, who is the commander, who was a commander in chief, Jagat Seth, who was one of the banker, Omi Chand, a rich merchant. Okay, these persons they have cheated to Sirajuddaulah. It means even though they were in the part of, it means they were the side of Sirajuddaulah, but at last they supported to British army. So in this way, this is the famous battle of Plassey, and you have to understand that took place in the 1757. 1757, it is the Battle of Plassey. So in this Battle of Plassey, when these cheaters like Mir Jafar, Jagat Seth, Omi Chand, they supported to Lord Clive. Lord Clive was the one Governor General. We can call the general. Afterwards, governor system had been started. We will come to know afterwards. So in the Battle of Plassey, these all supporters they defeated to Sirajuddaulah. So in this way, student, what happened after the Battle of Plassey? It means 1707. The Britishers got a chance for the free trading system. Totally, they became the master for trade in the Bengal province. Earlier in 1707, they got the only the some kinds of the with the some conditions they got a chance for the trade in the Bengal, but they were very cunning and smart, and with the help by the some greedy persons they won the battle. This is known as the Battle of Plassey. So 1757, it is a one of the main incident, student. After the Battle of Plassey, they got the chance for their trading settlement very nicely in the Bengal. Now we can understand what were the reasons of Sirajuddaulah, how and what were the reason behind it. Okay, first of all, he was betrayed by his own officers and merchants such as Mir Jafar and Jagat Seth. Okay, betrayed means by cheating, the person जिन्होंने उनको धोखा दिया. Okay, so it is a one of the main reason. That's why even though he was too powerful, but his own person they didn't help him. That's why he was defeated and totally dragged from the Bengal. Afterwards, the British had a supreme naval power. It means the navy power. They were very good in navigations and navy powers. So that's why it means they are having some advanced technology for the war. Then Sirajuddaulah was unexperienced, young, and okay, at the time he was too young. That's why he was not having this much experience to fight the big battles like this way. It means and some of the cleverness and by the some conspiracy by the Britishers with his own supporters, he defeated and killed in this battle. After, he did not make any attempt to gain support from the French. Okay, at that time he can take and he can take the supporter from the French at that time, but he couldn't do this one. So that's why we can understand here what the Battle of Plassey, they have got a very good chance and they became the master of the whole India. It means for a trade they became the master of whole India. And for the Mir Jafar, okay, for the Mir Jafar, they were like the new puppet. Okay, Mir Jafar was like his puppet. So in this way, it means now Mir Jafar, earlier who was a commander-in-chief of Sirajuddaulah, he was like a puppet of Britishers. Whatever the Britishers were asking him, he was doing all kinds of things. So except the 24 Parganas, only he was having the right to collect the revenue from the 24 Parganas in the Bengal along with the rights of the free trade. Okay, so in this way, East India Company, they got the chance. Starting after the Battle of Plassey, they got a chance to collect the revenue from 24 Parganas in Bengal along with the right to the free trade. So student, it is a story of the Battle of Plassey. So Battle of Plassey is a important event in the Indian history. From there, the Britishers, they set their route. They completely established in India, in the province of the Bengal, and they became the master of the trade in the India. Afterward, another one is a battle, that is a Battle of Buxar. Okay, so Battle of Buxar, actually Mir Qasim, the son-in-law of Mir Jafar. So afterwards, it means before that they were taking a help and like a puppet they were just asking to Mir Jafar, but afterward they have just asked to Mir Qasim, who are the son-in-law of Mir Jafar. Okay, so in this way they have made a company demand. New Nawab, however, became the unpopular with the British because the measures we undertook. Okay, so there are different kinds of the things. It means Mir Qasim also and Mir Jafar, both they were not a very, they just became unliked by the Britishers. They were not any kinds of the light person in the Britishers' eye. Okay, there are different reasons is here. It is given the Mir Qasim. What was the reason of the Mir Qasim unpopular among the Britishers? Like the modernization of the army. Then, because when Mir Qasim became the ruler, the Sultan ruler of the Bengal, he started the modernization of the army. But this was not very good for the Britishers. That's why they started, because Mir Qasim was doing some good job for his people and for his army and other things. Attempt to improve the finance of Bengal. This also the Britishers were also they were very opposed of this act to the this of the Mir Qasim. Attempt to check the misuse of the trade privilege of the Britishers. Okay, abolition of taxes and internal trade. So in this way, friend, we can understand what were the different factors which make the unpopular among the Britishers to the Mir Qasim. So we are talking about the Battle of Buxar. Now we can understand what is the Battle of Buxar. Actually, in the Battle of Buxar, they have the some kinds of the alliances means when the people are doing the work, it means they are joined together. So like the Mir Qasim Mir Qasim forged an alliance with the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Okay, Nawab of Awadh, Sujauddaulah, and they three were from the one side. Like who were the there? Like Mir Qasim, Mughal Emperor Shah Alam, and Nawab of Awadh, Sujauddaulah. So in this way, they fought against the Britishers. The Battle of Buxar in 1764. 1764. So 1764 when they fought, so alliances of these three were also defeated by the Britishers. It means the combined force were defeated by the British. With this victory, the company became the real master of Bengal. So, student, you have to understand the two facts. One is the Battle of Plassey. After the Battle of Plassey, they became the master of in the trade, and after the Battle of Buxar, they became the real master of Bengal, because now except the trade they started to think over about the mastery. It means to occupy the throne of the Bengal, and not only the Bengal, even the whole country India also. So there are the some kinds of the agreement which has took place between the emperor and the Shah. It means all three. It means this is known as the Treaty of Allahabad. Okay, it means Treaty of Allahabad means there is some kinds of the agreement. You know the Mir Qasim and then Mughal Emperor Shah Alam and Awadh Nawab Sujauddaulah, they were defeated in the Battle of Buxar 1764 by the Britishers. So Britishers got a very good chance to make some kinds of the agreement with them. So they have done different kinds of agreements. Some they have asked to, they have granted the Diwani. Okay, it means they took the Diwani from them, and some they have asked to pay the money of 26 lakh annual. Okay, some of they have given the districts. So in this way we can understand they are having a different kinds of tendency. Afterwards, what the result got, it means after the Battle of Buxar and the Battle of Plassey, this gave a different kinds of the new arrangement in the India, and which has been done by the Robert Clive. Robert Clive, already you came to know his name in the Battle of Plassey. Robert Clive introduced a dual government in Bengal in 1765. Dual government. Dual means where two persons are there. Okay, so dual government. Under this dual government, what happened? Mir Jafar was placed back on the throne and handed over the power of military and criminal jurisdiction. It means dual government means one person will be sit on the throne. Okay, one will sit on the throne and one will handle all the things. It means for a namesake only, the Britishers they asked to Mir Jafar again to sit on the throne, and they have hand over some kinds of the military power and the criminal jurisdiction, while the company have exercised control over the revenue collection. Now you can understand, it means the money, it means economic condition will be handled by the Britishers only. For namesake only they asked to sit Mir Jafar on the throne. So student, this is known only the dual government. Okay, so this is only now by this one they slowly they became the complete master of the Bengal and the India also. All the things was taking order by the Queen of England, and afterwards whatever the company was taking, that was their own choice and their own wishes or there. So student, in this way we can understand the system of the dual government made the company the virtual ruler of Bengal, because of which Bengal suffered tremendously during the period. Okay, so student, in this way we can understand what is the meaning of dual government, where two persons are there. One is for a name and sake, like a puppet is sitting on the throne, and the real power, the real authority in another hand. A real power authority was in the hand of Britishers. So it is the story of all the beginning of the trade, and to become from trading system to become real power, real master of the India, of the Britishers. So student, we have just gone through all the things. Okay, today we have learnt about the battle of Plassey. I have explained to you, after the battle of Plassey they got a chance for the trading system in the India. Afterwards we have learnt about the battle of Buxar, and this battle of Buxar, it have given the chance to the make Britishers the real controller, real master of the India. And after the battle of Buxar, they have done the different kinds of treaty, where the Mughal emperor Shah Alam have to face many problem, the Nawab Awadh have to face many problem. Along this one, the Bengal also have started dual government by the Robert Clive. Okay, so student, in this way we can understand. Now second, next is, now we have to understand, actually it was a policy of the Britishers, the English East India Company, how to occupy, how to consolidate the Indian rulers and their empires. In this series, Lord Dalhousie was one of the British governor. Okay, what he have done, he have just adopted the doctrine of lapse, one of the philosophy, one of the process. This is known as the doctrine of lapse. It means, like the policy of subsidiary alliances, this also you will come to know what is the subsidiary alliance. It is a policy of the Britishers to expand their empire, to consolidate the Indian rulers. So they adopted the doctrine of lapse. According to this one, a brainchild of the hardcore imperialist Dalhousie, the doctrine of lapse clearly stated that a dependent subsidiary state would pass to the British hand if the ruler died without a natural heir and a successor. It means, according to the doctrine of lapse, if there is any king, okay, if there is any king, and afterwards if he is not having any kind of any one of the male heir, HEIR, heir means successor, uttradhikari. According to the doctrine of lapse, what the policy Lord Dalhousie adopted, it means if any king is there, like we can talk about the Jhansi, when Gangadhar Rao died, so only Lakshmi Bai was there. Okay, and her own son also died, so she adopted the one son. But according to this policy, anyone who is not the real son of the king, and if there is no male heir, it means if any the male heir means if any son is not successor of any king or of any state of any empire, so automatically the state will be dissolved in the empire of Britishers. So in this series, the different states we can talk, like Satara, Jhansi, Sambhal, Nagpur. They were the different states which came under the policy of doctrinal lapse. Again, I am explaining to you what is the doctrinal lapse. According to doctrinal lapse, it means if any king is dying, any after the death of any king, if there is no male successor, okay, female will not participate, only male. Agar, okay, so in this way, if king is after death of king, if there is no male successor, female will not having any kind of participants in this matter. Only we need the male king and his son only. If he is not having any his own son, he didn't have to adapt any kinds of the another person also. The son supposed to be his own. Okay, and the supports of the male only. So in this way, if the king died and he is not having the any male successors, so automatically the state will be dissolved in the British Empire. So this is known as the doctrine of lapse, and it was adopted. This theory process has given by the Lord Dalhousie. So student, there is a different kinds of the things, and the policy of the Britishers which were adopted by the Britishers time to time. Likewise, we can understand here the subsidiary alliances also. Subsidiary alliances is the same thing. It means subsidiary alliances and doctrine of lapse is one of the policy of the Britishers. According to the subsidiary alliances, the Britishers also have started to control over the different kinds of states, and this has been given the Lord Wellesley. Subsidiary alliances policies have been given the Lord Wellesley. According to this one, all the rulers and the kings, they will be controlled by the different way by the Britishers. They will not having any kinds of the rights. All the things will be controlled by the Britishers. Okay, they cannot take participate in any kinds of war and other things. It means if they have to take participate in any kind of war and battles, so they have to take help from the Britishers. So what the Britishers were doing, the Britishers were keeping their own army, and but the maintenance will be charged by the king. It is given the first point. It is given in your first point. Disband his own army and maintain British troops permanently, except the British at his cost, and give some territory in lieu of it. Okay, it means there are the so many policies that is no comes in the subsidiary alliances. According to this one, the sultans and the king were not free to have their own decisions. They were totally controlled by the Britishers, and there were some kinds of the persons also. The court will be there who will take in eye and observation on the activity of the different kings. So in this way, student, we can understand this is the subsidiary alliances and what is the doctrine of lapse. So in this way, you can understand today whatever the things you have learned. You have learned about the Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, then you have learned something about the Treaty of Allahabad. Then you have just gone through the dual government in Bengal, the subsidiary alliances. Student, more things you can read and you can understand by this one, and then you came to know about the doctrine of lapse. So in this way you can go through one more time. Till then, thank you. Have a nice